So when people look at you and they see you, do they think you're the boss or just one of the employees? This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate. Today I'm going to give you 3 tips to really appear to be the leader every time somebody sees you. 3 things that you can work on and you can do so that when you're seen by other people, they say, that person knows who they are, where they're going, and what they're about. Now, why do we want to do this? Well, in our world, in real estate sales, I think clients follow that. I think customers follow that. I think teams follow that. Peers follow that. Negotiations go better when you have this skill. I think that every interaction that you have with your family is better when they feel like you're confident and you know what you're doing and you're carrying that air of executive, that air of leadership professionalism. Nobody wants to be around someone who has no confidence, who doesn't know where they're going or what they're about. Your children don't want that. Your spouse doesn't want that. Your business certainly doesn't want that. So let me tell you 3 things that you can do on a daily basis that you can work on that will help you find this in your life. First of all, ask yourself this: what is my gravitas? Like when you walk into a room, what is your presence? What is your air? What is the vibe, is maybe a better word, that you're giving off to people that you are around? Do they feel uplifted? Do they feel inspired? Do they feel motivated? Do they feel pushed and excited after they've seen you? Ask yourself these questions. Like when you walk in a room, what happens in the room? When you walk into a personal relationship, a conversation, do you lift the spirit or do you lower the tone? Gravitas is a big deal. When people feel uplifted by your presence without you even saying a word, it matters. How do you work on that? Well, you work on it quietly in private, like I've said before. You have to be confident in who you are and what you're doing when you walk in a room. You have to be reading the right things. You have to be studying the right things. You have to be thinking about the right things. You have to be around the right people. So you have to be in the right environment. If any of those things are off, like if there's a negative environment or an environment that brings you down on a constant basis, or a relationship, you got to shed that. You got to get rid of it, because in order for you to have the gravitas that you need, the energy that you need when you walk into a room without ever saying a word, you need to work on that. You need to surround yourself with people that can lift you higher. Are you ever around people that feel that way? When that person just walks in the room and you go, oh, he or she is here. Now we're good. Maybe it's a family member, a child even can have that. But ask yourself, do I have that gravitas? The second thing that you need to do after you've done the part about not speaking a word, number 2, you have to know how to communicate like a leader, how to communicate like a boss, how to communicate like somebody that people want to follow. You need to learn to speak in bold statements and things that really resonate with people. You have to be educated. You have to understand what people are going through. You have to be able to ask the right questions. You have to know the stories of the people that you're around. You have to know your story. You have to be confident in what your mission is on this planet. What were you put here for? You have to know all of those things, and you have to work on ways to communicate those. Do you ever work on scripts? Like if I haven't heard that once, I've heard it a million times in my tenure in real estate. People either love scripts or they hate them. I've heard people say, without my scripts, I'd be lost. And I've heard people say, with my scripts, it doesn't feel like me. So where are you? Could you answer a question about why you're here at the drop of a hat? Could you do it confidently? Do you know how to ask open-ended questions? These are seriously easy communication tactics, but I think we get so far into doing our business and having our relationships that we forget to work on the communication like a leader. When you speak, do people listen? Do you have more fluff words than real words? Do you say but, like, more than you say words of substance? Ask yourself those questions. You have to know how to, number 1, have the right spirit, have the right vibe, and you also, number 2, have to have the right words and know how to communicate. And then the third thing is very, very important when you're trying to figure out how to be a leader, how to go into a room and have people look at you and follow you. And that is, believe it or not, the way that you look. And note, this is not overstated. This is not vain. This is not a worldly thought. It is real. That the way that you dress, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you shave, the way that you do your hair, and I'm not talking about 24/7 or even with your family necessarily, but in a professional setting, when you're on the scene and you're expected to be a leader, do you look like one? I think our environment in our world lately in the last several years business has gotten away from what we would call professionalism. And certainly you can't dress professionally and act unprofessionally and it matter. Dress isn't all of it. But if you've got the right spirit, if you've got the right words to say, and you put together a nice outfit that says, hey, I'm in charge of this situation. I've got this. I'm good with this. The thing for me, the key for me is when they look at you, the way that you're dressed, are they distracted by it? Do they have to explain to themselves, hey, they've got sweatpants on, but I know they own this or that. And I know that they are the team leader, or their shirt is kind of ruffled, wrinkled, and they haven't shaved in a while, and they're at the office giving a presentation. But I know that they are the leader. If they have to explain themselves around you, the way that you look, you've missed the target. So these are three simple things, in my opinion, that you can do in order to lead more in your family, with your friends, with your team, with your business, is have the right attitude and spirit and vibe. Number two, have the right way of communication and work on it. And number three, have the ability to look the part more than you might look that part now. This is Tad Fulford with Rise Up in Real Estate, and I hope these three things help you rise up.